Okay, we are back. You're listening to Guy Rivera, your guy in the mortgage industry, and I am here with the lovely Ruth Ann Bowe. She's with Keller Williams. Keller Williams is located on Anacapa Street in the 1500 block. What
1400, 1435 at Mitchell Terrena.
And Ruth Ann Bowe is one of their great agents. So thanks for coming, talking to me today.
Thank you. I'm always excited to be on your show.
So tell us what's going on in Santa Barbara. Give us some stats.
You want some stats,
I
real
want the
estate stats. Okay, you know, for a small town, we're really not that small. I belong to a group of realtors, and there was a survey that went out to see how many people are in each of these towns. And while I've always felt that this was a super small town, we have a lot of people here compared to what other small towns are considered. So when I think about it, and I think, okay, if this realtor lives in a town where there's 10,000 people, how many transactions are they actually doing in a year? And how many do they need to do in order to survive? And it brings us back to our statistics and how many realtors we have. We have somewhere around 1,200 realtors in the Carpinteria to Goleta area. That's our region for our multiple listing system. And last month there were 79 closed homes, single-family homes, and another 31 condominiums. So when you take that number and divide it by the number of agents that we have, and you can double that because there's two sides to every transaction. That's not a lot of transactions, but when you think about the average sales price, average sold price on the houses was $1,915,000. That's $1,915,760 to be exact. And when you figure out commissions on that, it's still a pretty good living. It is down. The average is down from last year at the same time quite a bit, surprisingly. Down about 23%, but that's just this month. And a huge part of that was in 2015, we had 9 transactions that were over $3 million in the month of October alone. This year, we only had 5 transactions over $3 million. And of the 9 last year, 4 of them were over $5 million. So it skews it to statistics. We can look at the statistics as much as we want. They really can. You have to analyze over long term to get a realistic perspective.
Because they're all different, aren't they? I mean, it depends on where you get them. Like, did you get yours from CoreLogic, or? So
I get the CoreLogic information. I use my statistics from the multiple listing system.
Okay.
But we have to remember there are some for sale by owners, some that just never get into the MLS. I've done a couple of transactions this year that were outs that never put into the MLS. The house was never on the market. We never put it into the MLS.
Okay, so
those are counted in court.
Yeah, that's an interesting statement. So a lot of people don't realize that happens. Mm-hmm. A lot of people do not realize. So tell me how that works. So Ruth Ann now was that one of your listings, or was that somebody else's listing that you happened to? It wasn't even listed. It wasn't in the MLS. So it wasn't even a listing. It's called a pocket listing, right?
Well, in this case, they weren't even pocket listings. One of my transactions was a listing that I had gone for, and I happened to have a buyer for it. Now, another agent had actually gotten the listing. I think he offered a lower commission, which is okay. I happened to have a buyer for it, and I'm not a huge fan of double ending. That's where an agent represents the buyer and the seller. Not a huge fan of that, because if it's my listing, I already have an allegiance to them. The likelihood is if a buyer asks me to write the offer, how can I not lean towards my seller to help them? How can I be fair to both parties? It's difficult to do.
Sure.
So I try not to do that. But this worked out perfect. My buyers bought the house. As soon as I saw the house, I knew they would love it. I have another way where I write letters. I write really great letters when I can't find a house that is on the market for a buyer and they have a specific need. I put together a letter and pull a list of the houses that fit their need, and I've had a lot of success with that.
Wow.
I've done 3 transactions that way this year.
So that sets you aside, that sets you apart from a part-time real estate agent that just comes along and tries to hook a deal. I hate that. I hate that expression because our industry is a serious industry. We're dealing with people's lives. We're dealing
You're
with people's
spending a lot of money.
yeah, we're dealing with people, their largest investment they're ever going to make. And for somebody to say, "Well, I just want to hook a deal," that just irks the hell out of me.
It's like, would you go to a part-time dentist?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, would you have your dentist do your real estate transaction? Would you have your mechanic do your financing for you? No, but there was a time, and I thank God that all of those bartenders out there that were mortgage brokers are now back to tending bar because that's where they belong. Because they just, and guys like us, you, I, that have been down in the trenches, that have paid our dues, are still here, and we're not part-timers. But
you know what the difference is? I think a huge part of it is we love what we do. We love what we do. And because of that, we're good at it. And because we're good at it, we're successful. And that's what makes it happen. If you don't love what you do, you're never going to succeed at it. You're going to be that part-time agent. You're going to be that person that does one or half of a transaction every year.
And you can find that because anybody that is doing real estate, the good ones are doing it full time. That's all they do. They eat, breathe.
More than full time.
More than full time. Eat, breathe, sleep 24/7.
For any of you that are out there that are not full-time agents and really don't love doing it, I am happy to take your referrals anytime.
This is Guy Rivera. We're going to have to take another quick break here. We're talking to Ruth Ann Bowe. She's got great ideas. I'm not going to let her give away all of her cool ideas of marketing, but she is going to share for any potential clients out there what she does for her clients. And I've firsthand seen it, and it's great. You're listening to Mortgage Matters. We'll be right back.